Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Guild Wars stream. Gosh, where are we at these days? Week 69, day 1. That number just keeps getting higher and higher. One more week, or I should say one more month, and that number will be at 70. In the 70s, and we're almost going to be 100. I can only imagine what that will be like once we finally reach all the way. Also, apparently someone else is streaming. I guess Keelime? Possibly, because I don't think Salty is right now. But someone is, because we just got 2 redeem codes, and neither of those are mine. But thank you, whoever that was. We'll have one a little bit later in the stream, of course. Trying asking Salty for more, but she's not at the office at the moment. She'll probably get around to them on next Monday. Luckily, we have enough till then, so as long as she remembers to give them then, we should be fine by always, like, asking a little bit ahead of time just in case. But yeah, of course, 2 main priorities this stream is get Guild Wars done. We have been testing our new teams as well. The current one is doing, it's 212. It's technically above 10% win rate. I guess that's not horrifically bad. But I'll take it. It could be a bit better, but it just happens sometimes. Like anything that's about, I don't know. What even is good win rate for high-level delves or high-level Guild Wars? I'm not even sure these days. Because it seems like you can use like the perfect defend team and it can get 0 wins. Yet other days you could just get like 50% win rate. It just seems so weird how inconsistent it can be sometimes. But I don't know. Anything above like a 10%, I feel like is a good win rate for any kind of defend team. And I know that's an absurdly low win rate, but you have to keep in mind that everyone has an absurdly high win rate. So factoring that in. But anyways, we'll be running Green Guild War, and of course we'll be finishing Hall of Guardians. Well, not finishing, you know, we'll be doing the normal event. I highly doubt we're doing Pure Faction today. I might not even attempt it. Oh no, I almost got slightly tired of the Pure Faction for Hall of Guardians. It was just so reoccurringly disappointing every single time. I dropped 10 million gold on the guild. We made it rain on the guild. Absolutely made it rain. But yeah, we donated 8.9 million or something. Actually, how much did we donate? I'm pretty sure it was 8.9. Yeah, we donated 8.9. We absolutely made it rain on the guild. Because I wanted to do it for the video just so we could show it properly. But, it worked out nicely. Or everything else is so low, though, because I haven't been grinding much for trophies or anything. But that would be easy if we just spam some explorers in there. But anyways, let's go and use our extra stats that we have from those and go do Guild Wars. We're also Paragon this week, so we have quite a lot of extra stats, to say the least. As far as the team that we're going to be using, we're going to be using this thing over here. It's the same one we've been using the last couple Guild Wars. I won't be changing it just because it's so solid. The only big issue it has is against freeze, and he does have a partial freeze. However, should hopefully be able to get rolling quick enough that that won't end up becoming a factor. Also, what do I normally roll with this? Let's see, 20% mana start is for sure. I guess we go for magic for the other one. I'm leaning either towards magic or HP. And the main thing that makes me say HP is Yagway potentially doing too much damage to us. And wanting that HP so we don't die on first thought on accident. I might just for this battle, if nothing else. I think we set it to HP rather than magic. So we'll do that for 16 extra durability. 20% we obviously keep so we can start a bit quicker. So we can get our casts up before their casts. And I think that'll be fine. Also, I know some people don't like it, but I am 100% in favor of keeping tokens forever in PvP. I know it's a little bit annoying having to change them between optimizing them for your defend team and optimizing them for whatever you're normally doing. However, I absolutely love having utility of using them. It just ends up making it so much different, or it allows so many more options in Guild Wars than what you've previously be able to do, or be able to make options even better, or tweak them in certain ways. It's a nice little mechanic. It makes you have to think about it for every single team. Also, hello everyone. Didn't even say hellos, but hope you've been doing well. I hope it hasn't been getting too cold either with all the cold fronts that have been coming in. In my area, that hasn't been too big of an issue, but I know in some areas it definitely has been. But anyways, hello Bill, hello Jellybean, hello Birdleaf, hello Haley, hello Zeddicus, hello Polly, hello Morbarashi, hello Moss, hello Bill Warhammer, hello Ben, hello hello Bogdan, hello the Krill, hello Jeremy, hello Matt, and hello everyone else. Hello Outlander, welcome. So, let's get things rolling. Can we take a green here? No, we need one. I guess we take a blue for now. Do we let him skull us? What's classy using? I guess it's fine for him to hit us with 1 skulls. His stats are actually relatively low. So, yeah, I think we go down to blue. So he'll poke us, obviously. Oh, we surged. Nice. Okay, that works. So now we just convert away all these purples. And is that enough mana? Yes, it is. Do we have Doomed Glaive alignment? No, we do not. Yes, no. Yeah, we'll take that. Okay, we'll grab that. Go and we'll take another extra turn just in case we need Apothecary. Good, we got alignment now. Throw our gigantic AoE. Maybe we should have gone magic. Gosh, I forgot how quickly things die when using this build. And he's already dead. The power of Doomed Glaive. Also, if you needed another reason to get Doomed Glaive, here's another. Of course, we just covered a video. Pretty sure most of you haven't seen it since, well, it literally just went up. And there hasn't even been enough time since it's been up to fully watch through it. But we did mention the importance of Doomed Glaive, and I highly advise crafting it this week if you can get enough resources together for it, if you don't already own it. But it's one of the best, or arguably the best doomed weapon in the entire game, as well as just pretty much one of the best weapons in the entire game, period. Mainly because it has a green storm, or storm into itself, while having a full board clear, while having skull spam, while having a really high AoE, while also having an entangle so your skull spam doesn't even backfire as much. And that factor, all in combination with the fact that it can also convert away brown, which is not only a useful color, but also synergizes really good with truffle, ends up making it insanely strong. Of course, you mostly use it with truffles, but it also works for this team because we can do a similar mechanic in which we use the apothecaries for the browns and then convert it over. So kind of like a truffle, except with a safer option due to cleanse and everything. Yeah, ends up working out pretty nice. Oops, that's not what I want. I want a Guild Wars. Keep always accidentally clicking Guild to get to Guild Wars. Has it ever been like that in the past? I don't think it has. But anyways, we're up against a more annoying team, so let me go magic. HP will not help us here because of the iron gut and everything. So let's go get out our magic then. And switch that up. Obviously, we keep 20%. We'll be keeping that the entire time here for all of these battles. Get back to Guild Wars. Also, this team can score around 9,600 or so. As long as we don't get tripped up on any battle or obviously lose, we should score 9,600 with this team. It's pretty good at consistently doing that for the most part. So, any good options here? We can take green into red sky. We don't need red, though. We can take yellow, but we also don't need yellow. Gosh, every option we have we can't take. However, this could give us brown off of sky, so I guess we go for it. Oh, we got skull off of sky. A triple skull out of nowhere. I'll take it. Not exactly what I was trying for. That wasn't even an invisible sight, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Okay, so, skull. Do we go for it? I guess so. Because we don't really have another option. Oh, I should have double-checked what his alignment was there. Whoops. That's a slate issue, because now we'd have a bit of a green problem. Also, if Wild Queen dies, that is very problematic. Don't you dare die off of... Okay, that could actually be really, really bad if she dies off that death mark. Whoa. Get it off. There we go, no death mark. 0% chance of death. Save it just in case. Do we have Doomed Glaive alignment? Please say yes. Why does that look like a no? Oh, well, we'll just convert away red, I guess. We don't use red anyways. Okay, now do we have alignment? No, somehow. Well then, we'll throw this again. Throw it on hero. Dead. Almost dead. Now we have alignment. Go, kill it. There we go. And that should be win. We'll just go grab that. Get Wild Queen to full. And one more Wild Queen to kill it off with. And now he has no attack to even devour with, and he's dead. Easy as that. And we're tier 1 PvP. So easy to do on Guild War weeks. Plus we were messing with stuff the other day. Okay, here we run into our first problem. What a team. It's a Vespera team. The problem here is freeze. He has probably Frost Mage into... Yeah, it's Frost Mage into a bunch of freeze. That is problematic, but hopefully Apothecary will be enough to bypass it. What's the new Discord address? Right over here. This should be the right one. It's in description. Where to go? Right here. I believe this is the right one. Isabel can probably confirm it for me. I'm actually not 100% sure because I didn't bother clicking on it right there. But let's see. If I'll go click on it right now. That should be the right one. Let's see. Is that the right one? Yes. It is. Also, did Cookie change my my profile thing for the thing? Why do I feel like Cookie did that? Because it's the Cookie Monster. That's funny, though. That is really funny. But anyways, let me go and change all that over. Yeah, there was a problem with people constantly getting kicked. I believe that has been fully resolved. It was the bot accidentally kicking people. We weren't actually kicking anyone. The bot was kicking people. But I believe that has been 100% resolved. I haven't heard any issues with it as of now. I haven't been really using it that much. I need to be. Probably into next year I'll be using it a lot more. This year I haven't really touched it much yet. Mostly just getting it rolling. Oh, what do we grab here? We have Doomed Glaive alignment. Let's get that there. And down it goes already. Easy as that. We should be on track for a solid 9,600. Okay, looks like a lot of them are using this team. As long as we can get Apothecary in a timely manner, it shouldn't matter. So we need to focus blues immediately. These are the biggest priorities in these battles. That'll get so much green that we just go right into it. Do I scroll to purple? Or take green? I'm leaning toward just taking green. We have barrier anyways. He could just hit on barrier. Okay, do we have alignment? No. Is it still worth going for? No. So we'll just go grab, he doesn't use green. Wait, that's weird. Why would you use a team on a day where you don't have the color at all on your team? Like, you'd always want to go use a, at least one green option generally, or, you know, whatever the color option is of the day. You normally want to use at least one. You don't necessarily have to, but generally you want to use at least one so that if they excessively do the color, especially on something like green where they create the color a lot, you want to have an option that can actually use that color. A little bit weird that he has no green on the team. Obviously it makes sense, but given it's a Vespera team, but I don't know. Seems like a rather weird thing to be using. We'll go for that for now. But it's nice to see a guild trying to use Vespera, if nothing else. We'll go for that. And that should be dead. Let's see, is the last one Vespera too? I would assume so if the last two we just had were that same team. Because that means they probably shared it across the guild. Nope, Gorgotha. Oh, Precedence, nice. We're actually seeing a lot of new options this week. Pretty cool. We should be fine. There's a bit of a liability, given that he does double damage to us. However, I think we can hopefully outpace him. I say that, but unless I surge here, we're actually going to be outpaced by him. Please surge. Good, okay, we're fine. As long as this doesn't get him anything good, and it doesn't. Okay, do we have a convert? Yes, purple, we won. Match is already over. That's not guarantee win yet, but it's pretty close. We'll go for that. Ooh, that's a solid miss. Ooh, that miss hurt. Ouch, that hurt our score a lot. Hopefully that'll be our only miss this battle. That was a hefty miss. I really don't want to do this on green, but I feel like we don't have another option here. I was hoping we'd have alignment after that. That was a little bit of a waste, but we'll go get rid of his attack just in case he feels like hitting us because he does double damage. To greens, and obviously we're all green. Okay, a little bit of a shaky final battle, but shouldn't hurt our score too much. Though that might have made us dip under 9,600, but hopefully we're still above. I feel like we're still above. Yep, 9,651. That was on track for probably almost 9,700 then. Because that would have probably been a 9,680 if we didn't take all that damage there. Possibly even a little bit more. But oh well. As normal, it scores absurdly high. Honestly, I don't think any Guild War team even scores higher than that from what I currently use. Not sure if there's other like really solid combos out there, but gosh, that is just so good whenever it doesn't die. There's a small chance it does, but it's very rare. Because obviously if you use Wild Queen, if your Wild Queen dies due to something, that generally means you lose the battle. Because that means you have to solo with Doomed Glaive, which is possible, but less likely than given that Wild Queen is a good majority of the team. Even though Doomed Glaive is still strong. But still, nonetheless, I'll take it. A 9,651. And anything above 9,500 really good. Anything above 9,600 pretty much perfect score. So I'll take it. And we're almost back. I just need the rest of my guild doing their battles, and boom, we just took what should be first place. And of course, as of this patch, as I mentioned a couple times, you do gain an additional 50 gems for first place. Meaning we actually get more gems than a good majority of bracket 2 to 5 if we make first place in bracket 6. So even though we're in a much lower bracket, we gain 50 gems for winning. And obviously we don't need any more of the Guardian troops if you've been playing for years. And the gold is a relatively useless amount. So the only thing that really matters is the gems. So yeah, we might get 150 gems this week, hopefully, instead of 125, while still moving back up to the point where we'll get 125. And then if we make a first place there, we'll get 175, but that'll be a bit less likely if we move up 2 brackets, because if we make first place, we'll move back from 6 to 4. And in bracket 4, we might not necessarily make first place, but we'll see. But anyways, at least get it this week, if nothing else, hopefully. We'll see how it goes against that guild. Too bad we can't see if we're actually up against them or not, but hopefully they don't do too good to give our entire guild 50 free gems. Because 50 gems might not sound like a huge amount, but if you think about it across your entire guild, what is that? That's 1,500 gems. That's 1,500 gems across your entire guild that you basically get for free, just from getting first place. Well, I shouldn't say free, because sometimes you have to put resources in. And we probably actually lost more gems than we even did, because I did end up maxing out my things this week, because we're Sentinel. Generally, it is advised if you're Sentinel, if you're in bracket like 10 or above, you should have your Sentinel generally max out, just to make sure that the enemy gets more losses due to your Paragon having higher stats. And I always advise going for at least a 3. Also, where is Leo Zeno? Is he inactive? What's going on? He's been inactive for 1 day, so I guess he just didn't remember to do it. We have 2 people. Gem Sky as well forgot to do it. What is this? Also inactive for a day. They might have just forgotten to do it yesterday. We got 2 people who forgot their bonuses. It could be like a whole extra stat for us if they both go do 3. Or somewhere's around there. What are our bonus stats right now? Where's the breakdown for it? We're currently getting 9 armor, 16 HP, 16... Or sorry, why did I say that as armor? 9 attack. It's that icon that threw me off. 9 attack, 16 HP, 16 armor, and 10 magic are all the extra bonus stats we are getting. Of which I specifically bought 5 attack, 10 HP, 10 armor, and 5 magic for myself. And the rest are coming from the stats that the rest of the guild ended up buying into. Ends up giving us all that. Anyways, that's that. Next order of business. Obviously, let's just go clear out dailies real quick. And then let's go and do faction. And as soon as I finish out dailies that aren't faction, we'll go and head over and give out a code. Before I forget. Let's see. You wish you saw new options. You just get to fight 20 plus spiders for 20 minutes. Oh yeah, that can be really annoying with Life and Death. Life and Death can still cause that. Even with the nerf they did to it. It is still very, very annoying to deal with. Guild Wars, the worst week of the game. I don't know, I personally absolutely love it. It can be very stressful, but I personally enjoy the game mode. I know some people really, really hate it though, which is what ended up causing them to add additional game mode weeks. I don't know, I've always been a decent fan of it. It was getting tired doing it literally every week, though I do wish it was every other week rather than once a month. Though I know some people think once a month is too often. Because they don't like the game mode. I don't know, I like it in the sense that you finally get to use everything you have in the game for something. Because a lot of pieces of content in Gems of War do not use a high variety of troops. You can normally get away with a really, really, really small amount of options. Like things like Delves, Tower of Doom, stuff like that. Generally cycle through the same several teams. And while Guild Wars technically somewhat does that too, it at least uses a much wider range of teams than that of which you would ever use in any other location. It's also currently the only location in the game where setting a proper defend team is actually beneficial. Which means you have to go through the whole defend team meta and how AI uses teams properly, or not properly, and then having to build around that. Which ends up being quite a bit different than how you might necessarily build normal teams, since AI has to control it properly. Yeah, the biggest issue with Guild Wars is it requires a lot of content to do it well. Like, you have to have a lot of legends, a lot of mythics to really fully utilize Guild Wars, which is why in the video yesterday I covered a lot of early game teams with the new Guardians for Guild Wars, since a lot of people generally ask, and that's what those new Guardians were more geared towards anyways, as far as their use was for more towards early game, kind of mid game area, particularly Guild War option obviously, since they're the Guild War Guardians, like the other 6. But yeah, it's an interesting kind of concept how you have to build through it. It's just annoying when you're like missing a good option for it. Like if you were missing Wild Queen for this day, like you might have been able to get to Doom's Glaive this week, but you're still missing something like Wild Queen. Can be a little bit annoying because a one single troop difference can make your team so much less effective, which will hurt your score obviously. But it's still winnable regardless. And especially given that you might not have as many options. Generally, when you don't have as many options, you're in a lower bracket anyways. So your opponents might not be as hard. Because, of course, we're towards the higher end. We're in bracket 6 right now. Potentially moving back to bracket 4 next week. Or bracket 5. Depends if we make first place. But we're guaranteed going to make top 3, which means we're at least moving back to top 5 brackets. But we should make first, hopefully. There's only one person that seems to be putting up competition for it. Though the only issue is I don't know if all these people have done all their battles. Like, if we assume all of these have done all their battles, then we are, like, heftily in first place. But there's no way to check. We've asked for this in the past, similar to 27 out of 30. And while they did give us 27 out of 30 this patch, they still haven't given us any way to check how many battles they've done. There's plenty of room. They could put it on this page or somewhere else. But nowhere can you see how many battles a guild has left. So, for example, you can see against the opponent you're currently at for today. Like right now, we can see that we're 135 to basically we're 135. They're at 134. So we can see we've both done essentially the same amount of battles. However, I can't check this for any other guild nor for any other day. Like I can't check this guild for a different day once this days goes by. But there's no way to check this. Like I can't go over here and say, oh, Honor Guard, have you done all your battles yet? I don't know because there's nothing on here that shows it. Nor do they know if my guild's done all of our battles. I don't know. It's just always been kind of weird. Because it makes it, you can't really strategize around that since you don't know like how many, like you can see their score, but you don't know if that's their true score or just part of their score. It could just be that they haven't done all their battles yet and their score is actually way higher than whatever that number is showing. So hopefully it'll eventually add that, but at least we got them to do 27 out of 30, which is the much more important one, obviously. Now you don't need to worry about if you have to go recruit on a Guild War week, or if you have to kick someone, or if someone was inactive, or if you wanted to take up a newer player to help them out, or any other number of reasons. No longer do you really get penalized on Guild War weeks. It's still beneficial to have a full guild. However, it won't punish you nearly as much if you are missing a few people, compared to before where it was pretty much auto-lose a bracket if you were missing someone. Isn't it under results? Is it? Where? It shows the opposing guild. It doesn't show every opposing guild, though. It just shows the opposing guild for today. What do you mean by results? You mean this over here, right? Underneath attack and then question? Under the progress? Is this what you're referring to? This only shows the guild we were up against. It does not show every other guild. Nor would it show this guild or any of our past guilds. Like, we won't be able to see this guild after tomorrow. But yeah, where do you see results? No, results is just what happened for our guild. It doesn't show any other guild. This just shows the progress for our own. Let's see how many other people scored really high. Got a couple 9,500s in there. Did anyone else score 9,600? Yeah, pretty much. Ron did. He was 30 off, but that's pretty much 9,600. Oh, there we go, too. Razgul did really good as well. That's essentially 9,600, only 9 points off. Actually, he did the second best. But I don't see anyone else with it. I don't think anyone else actually broke it, unfortunately. Though it does come slightly down to luck. James has it too, almost. Yeah, there we go. Anything around that area. Anything above 9,500 is insanely high, though. Most of the rest of it comes down to luck. Not necessarily, because that one can actually consistently do about 9,600 and slightly above. But it does partially come down to luck, how much more above you end up getting. Anyways, let's see. Where were we? Let's go finish out dungeons, hand out a code, and then we'll go do all of Hall of Guardians. Because we need to go and clear out that, of course. I'm not sure what you mean by the result tab. That's what I was under. It said result tab. It just shows your own guild. It doesn't show other guilds. It shows every single one of your members. And it doesn't even show everything there either. Because it doesn't break it down per day. It just shows the total on that. Which is also a little bit confusing. Because you can't actually check what you got each specific day. That's even more confusing if you did all of them on one day. So let's say you waited till Sunday and did your battles. And let's say you did 3 of them and you wanted to see what you did on the second day. That's quite literally impossible because it doesn't show it anymore. It's kind of weird. Hello, Moeller. Welcome. Let's see. The best thing about Guild War is that it's a quick event. Yeah, Guild Wars generally take the least amount of time of any of the events. You can get it done on a single day within like an hour or two, the entirety of it, depending on how quickly or slowly you play out the battles. It's one of the quickest, if not the quickest, guild-related event in the game. Technically, raids can be the absolute quickest if your guild carries you, because the furthest you need to go to get all rewards from raids is 10 battles, and those 10 battles are super weak that you can kill out in like under 10 minutes. Like you can do it in under 5 minutes probably. They're like 30-second or less battles later in the game. So if your guild was to carry you, and they didn't have like some kind of mandatory minimum in which they would kick you at, if you were just like inactive for several days and they just got it done, you could theoretically get away with not even doing raids and get the full amount of loot. However, you wouldn't end up getting the troop to Mythic, which you'd probably want. However, it is technically possible to not spend any into raids, play 10 battles for 5 minutes, and have the entirety of raids done for the week if your guild carries you. So that's probably the quickest event in the entire game, theoretically. However, if you take actual participation time, Guild Wars is the quickest event. If you count actually fully participating in the event, it can take under 2 hours across the entire week, assuming you already have all your teams built and you know what you're going to be using. And of course, that's split across 6 days, those 2 hours. But anyways, unless you wait until Sunday to do them all. But anyways, let's go and hand out code. I don't have one marked at the moment, so let me go find one. I remembered to ask Salty, however, I forgot to go mark them. So let me go see if I can go and dig up a code here. I know I have active ones. Like 9 or so of these are active. I just need to figure out which ones of these are active. Oh no, did I close my tab for that earlier? Oh no, I did. Because I was doing other stuff on the forum. Because there was a lot of discussion about what happened yesterday. And I accidentally closed off of my things. Well, let me go find them again. There they are. I just backtracked. Yep, I accidentally went off the page. Okay, I believe this one is active. It's either this one or the one below. Let's go check both. Oh, yep, it's the one below. That's what I thought. Oh, cool. I instantly clicked the right one. Nice. I will put that in there. Put that there. Copy, copy. And here you guys go. Here's the redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com with the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath the settings menu. Whatever your game says right over here in the bottom left corner is what you put in for your invite code. Redeem code's right over there in chat. Just copy paste the random numbers and letters. And it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Enjoy, everyone. And it's only usable on PC mobile version, of course. Anyways, next order of business and final order of business. Let's go do the entirety of the faction event. So let's go buy ourselves the extra little bit of loot here. And I think I'm going to go down Slicer route. We haven't used Slicer for a while. Feels like ages since we ran Slicer. I ended up showing the... there's a pure faction team. I ended up showing the Mountain Crusher variant of it, which is pretty much the exact same thing, just with Mountain Crusher. But we're going to go Stone Slicer. It's one of those weapons people might not have, but Mountain Crusher's still fine. Unfortunately, there's no Construct Hero class, but we just use Titan or something. As long as it has half mana start. It's the main thing that matters. Okay. And what else do we want to go do? Actually, you know what? We could get away with not using half mana start. What hero class do I want to get up? Let's go get up Slayer. We can actually do this without half mana start. That has Red Storm too, so that'll work. So let's do that. Let's change our banner accordingly. We need to go change this to a +2 red, +1 brown. Actually, what do you create again? I guess we'll still do that. Just because we have Red Storm. We're going to be winning quick enough that it's probably fine. And make sure we get enchant and make sure we have 20% since we're not running a mana start. So that should be fine, except for the fact that we need attack, not magic. Because I believe gargoyles actually gain more damage off of attack, if I'm not mistaken. What's their boost ratio? Let me double check that. Pretty sure they do. You have a 1 to 2, right? No, 1 to 3. It still gets higher boost ratio though, right? Yeah. Because that means for every... Because you're getting 16 attack, which is 5 additional damage, whereas the other thing would only be doing... Wait, why did I say 5? Yeah, 5. Because it goes in 5 times into 16. Or, 15. The excess goes and gets rounded down. And since it goes into that 5 times, it's 5 additional damage. Whereas 4 magic only does 4 additional damage. So yeah, we'll go with that. And oh no, it didn't save my team. I hate that. Okay, you know what? There's a way to bypass this. Where to go? I'm not gonna put all that back in. Easier way is just to copy this. I already have it done. Let's go grab this and replace out Mountain Crusher with a Slicer. Paste team and put a slicer there. I keep forgetting that. If you don't confirm that team, it defaults it back to whatever you had before. Okay, let's confirm this team so we can actually go use this. Oh, I meant to use Slayer here, class. Fail. Rip. Oh, not that big a deal. Not that big a deal. Let's go hit it, dead. Oh, now we got to deal with Titan this entire time. That means we gain 16 less Slayer EXP. Fail. Not a huge deal, though. We'll get him upgraded eventually. I went to town on the forum. I just posted what I said here. Though those seem to be the most liked comment in the thread. Or I believe it is. There's quite a few pretty liked ones, though. Quite a few good mentions by people. Yeah, Salty seems like to be under a lot of stress from it, too. Like, that's the, like, hardest part probably about her job. Is, like, everyone takes everything out on her. Yet, relative to some of the other developers, she has very, very little impact on the game. Not that she has no impact on the game, but, you know, it's not as much as people think, most likely. What's the best Iron Gut team for this faction? You can't really use it as well. This is probably one of the clunkiest locations to try to use Iron Gut. Mostly because he doesn't really have a proper mana generator. I believe you have to do it with, that one dwarf. The dwarf that converts all green to brown. You do it with, Mountain Crusher, Iron Gut, the dwarf that converts all green to brown. Why do I forget his name? And, one other option. And that one other option is probably that Mythic that curses. So that you can get rid of Deathmark. That one that curses whenever you take brown. Why do I forget his name as well? Vashtagan. Vashtagan's the Mythic. I forget the name of the dwarf, though. But if you were to run down that way, I should have mentioned that for the video. I was thinking of including it, but then ended up not including it. But yeah, that's the team. So your team would be Mountain Crusher, Iron Gut, Gimlet, and Vashtagan would be what you would use. Unfortunately, there is not a Vashtagan replacement in that team, I don't believe, based on this coloration for this delve. But Vashtagan would be your curse option so that you can break through Devour. Iron Gut's the way you win. Gimlet's your mana accumulation. And Hero's just there for mana. Plus it will get enraged off a Gimlet for extra damage in case you need a skull for whatever reason. Also, if you don't have Vashtagan, you could go down more of a skull-oriented hero class. Because you could end up making Enraged Gimlet to make your hero do a little bit more damage. Okay, you do have Vashtagan. Okay, yeah, that would work then. It doesn't work as good as the Apothecary variant, but it still functions. It's not much slower. Yeah, some delves are a little bit weird with how you have to end up building it, just because it lacks some of the better options. But it can still function regardless, as long as it can be used. Any delve that can run Iron Gut is one of the more meta teams that you can run for higher levels. It might not always be the best for a given delve, but it's definitely usable in every delve. Hello, Liz! Welcome. Or every delve where it could be used, I should say. Now, between Iron Gut and Zugoff, that actually does cover every delve in the game. If you're looking to go down instant kill routes. Only problem is a lot of people don't have Zugoff, of course. And the most recent patch made it so you potentially needed to go use some of your major orbs as well. Or minor orbs in order to upgrade to new Guardians. Because if you don't upgrade to new Guardians to Mythic, you'll be hindering your seal drop table for whenever you go and open up seals for anything. Because prior to having all of the Guardians at 4 copies in Mythic, you'll be getting half your drops as Guardians. Which means you're basically wasting half your drops prior to that point. Which is why a lot of people orbed them. Let's see, we'll grab that for now. Was last night's video considered the event video? No, I covered the event video right now. Right before the stream went up. I posted the video. It should be public, right? It should be. I actually didn't double check. It should be. Almost 100% certain it is public. But yeah, I just covered it like literally an hour ago. Actually less than an hour ago. It was just posted. Obviously a little bit late, unfortunately, but I did want to cover the 4.7 yesterday, as it seemed like it was more important to cover before going over the event stuff, because this event wasn't too eventful, other than Doomed Glaive coming into Soulforge and the fact that, oh, I forgot to change hero class again, fail. But other than the fact that Doomed Glaive is in Soulforge, we're getting a new pet on Wednesday, and we have Bounty Hunter on Friday. There's not really too much relevant about this week, other than the patch itself. At least in relevance to relevance. That was the most relevant thing. But yeah, we just covered it, the event video. If you want any of the info, it's all in there. It's most of the stuff we already mentioned on Monday night stream, though. Because the Legend's useless, that came in the event key drop table. And the Glory Troop is only usable in early game. I did show an early game team for it, since it was relevant. Of course, we showed Truffle, because Truffle for Glaive is pretty much the best combo. It's basically one of the biggest things that makes Glaive team work, or that makes Truffle team work. It's not needed to make Truffle team work, but it's what makes... It's not... I shouldn't say it's what makes it works. It's what makes it work quickly, is Doomed Glaive. Doomed Glaive substantially increases the speed at which you win with Truffle team, due to the fact that it has an AoE higher than that of the Truffles, while also having a Skull Spam attached to it, while also having a Green Storm in case your Green Storm broke from too many turns going by. Because you have to win within 4 turns in order to use it without a refresher. Do I have 2 teams named Guild War Blue? Are you sure? Guild War Red, Guild War Blue, Guild War Yellow, Guild War Brown, Guild War Purple, Guild War Green. Defend Red, defend Green, defend Blue, defend Yellow, defend Brown, defend Purple. I don't think so. Unless you mean down here. But if it was down here, I was just showing it for a video or for some other purpose. Like right here, we have a second Purple Guild War. I'm not sure if I'm actually running this for Purple Guild War. This was something we were messing around with when Vespera came out. If I'll be running this for Purple Guild War, I'm not 100% certain. But I kept it as an option just so I'd remember. Maybe it was Defend? Oh, it might have been that it didn't refresh the name. Because I know I changed 2 of the names. So it might have been I just forgot to change a name here. Yeah, it might have just been the Defend thing. But yeah, I did forget to change the name earlier. This was Defend Blue, and this was also Defend Blue. So you might have seen that if you're referring to a previous video. Because I changed my blue and green team. I switched my blue team to green day. And then I completely changed what my blue day was. So I ended up doing that earlier. This is such a weird team. I'm probably going to get rid of this, but I'm really curious just to see how it goes. If it actually gets an okay win rate. Because it's a team that probably no one will expect. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good. I'm probably more interested in seeing how this one fends. Because this one seems like it's actually viable. More so than this one. Like, this is the other new team that we end up creating. Or Defend Yellow. This uses the Tanya buff. This is the first time we're using him for something viable since he's been buffed. He ended up getting a 25% increase to the amount of adjacent damage he does. He also gained about 5 additional base damage, while also gaining 1 additional magic steal per turn. And in combination, that's a pretty hefty buff overall, as far as his overall damage. And just using that with Wild Queen, and in combination, hoping that works out. So we'll see how that goes. And also has double Wild Folk, though I don't think we get any bonus for that, unfortunately. And there's no room to give it a 50%. But we'll see how it goes. And this thing does triple damage to yellows, of course. Both off its ability as well as double off of skulls. So it's kind of like one of those Guardian things, except different. But anyways, well, it even has half mana start too. But we'll see how that fends tomorrow. But let's go back to the faction grind. At this point, I might just use Titan the entire time. Because we're getting, once we get to about 50 or 60, we need to switch to Titan anyways. And since I keep forgetting, I might as well just keep it Titan. We'll be able to get more EXP for the hero class later. I just feel like it's going to slow us down if we switch. Because we won't have half mana start then. Which doesn't make too big a difference given that we're on 20% mana start right now. But still, it makes some difference. Have you noticed the last 3 delves? Dev let us use King Gobtruffle team with color variation. I haven't noticed that all the last delves have had that as an option. But it does come up pretty often, because if the delve even includes the color blue, you can run the most meta truffle teams in the game. And yeah, if it even just has the color blue. And then of course any of them that has green. While you can't run perfect meta, you can still run a very similar team that would work. But any delve that includes blue will be able to run the truffle team. It doesn't even matter what the other color is, because a truffle team only needs blue to build the normal team. Because you need Farce Troll is blue, and obviously the two truffles are blue since they use the exact same colors, since they're the exact same troop. And then you can just use any weapon. So even if green isn't an option, you're still allowed to use any color weapon you want. And obviously that's Doomed Glaive, assuming you get it by the end of this week. Yeah, highly advised to go get Doomed Glaive for anyone who hasn't gotten it yet. It's the most relevant new piece of content this week. Well, it's not new, but for some people it might be new if you weren't able to get it several months ago. I think Doomed Glaive came out about, I want to say 10 months ago, 9 months ago. I forget exactly when. Several months. And obviously quite a few people might not have picked it up at the time, either because they were newer players then or there have been newer players since, in that they haven't even gotten the event since then. But it's in SoulForge right now, and highly advised to obtain. The purple variation is still the worst for Delve. Purple has Zugoff. You can end up building some okay Zugoff's teams. But of course most people don't have Zugoff. But yeah, purple doesn't have too many options. I think the purple's biggest issue isn't that it lacks options, but it lacks good upscaling options. I feel like on most purple days, if you don't have a lot of options, you just have to go skull spam. Which isn't horrible, but there's much better options out there than just doing skull spam. But for purple, that seems to be one of the biggest ways you tend to go. Just because there isn't other options, using like a Mang skull spam team. Because one thing purple does not lack is skull spams. I'm pretty sure purple has the most amount of skull spam options of any color in the entire game. I'm pretty sure it still has the highest. I know in the past it used to have the highest. I believe that's still true today. But I haven't counted. But it feels like purple still has the highest. It might not be as big of a margin as it used to have in the past, but it should still be the highest amount of skull spam options of any color. And of course you can use any color hero weapon, so you can just use a really strong Titan, Mang, or any other combo like that. Potentially even Mountain Crusher. Mountain Crusher, oddly enough, actually does have max stats for a weapon. While that doesn't make too huge a difference, particularly later in the game, it does gain max stats off of it. And what I mean by that is those little tempering things that it gets off the first 5 levels. And I believe it gets +7 attack from having it upgraded like that. Which isn't a gigantic difference, but it's tied at the highest that any weapon gets for extra stats into attack. Oh, grab that. Get the rest of our weapon. Unfortunately, it did not surge, but luckily we have enchant, so actually that doesn't matter at all. I'm actually gonna take mana here. Let's see if we could double turn and just kill out his entire team. Please don't revive. Even if he did, that wouldn't have mattered too much because the second one would have been able to clean it up. Not so far so good for the event. Grab all that mess. Still got several to go though. Still need to go get, what, 5 more delves? Look at they go pretty quick with this. Not the quickest of delves, but not one of the slowest either. The biggest issue is mostly that the first and final battle has spell reduction. And skill reduction, but mostly spell reduction. Which can slow this down. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Actually, this is one of the slower delves, isn't it? Because the reduction that it has. Never mind. It might actually be the slowest now that I think about it. Because what other delve would really slow you down that much? It doesn't make as big of a deal at these lower levels for the most part. But once we start reaching 100 and further, you can really start noticing that there's spell and skill reduction on the first and final battle. Which basically means you might potentially need to double the amount of casts you need to do just because of that reduction. Which is obviously not good for speed. Yeah, Shabanu is a decent purple. The Grey King isn't really used much in this game mode. Obsidius is okay, but it depends on the team. Zugaf is definitely good. Infernus is all good, but he doesn't upscale. That's the other problem Grey King has for the most part. Obsidius can, because stun technically does. But of those, Shabanu, Obsidius, and Zugaf are the only 3 that actually upscale. The Grey King and Infernus don't really upscale that well. Particularly Infernus. Even though they are good troops. Shabanu can upscale in the sense that she mana generates, and she can just mana generate other things that upscale. So in that regard, she can. Obsidius technically can because of stun. The Grey King could if it could silence the entire enemy team. However, in most battles, you're only going to be able to double silence with him. Which is the biggest issue with that. And Infernus definitely has 0 upscaling. Infernus is really bad against higher level content. Even though he's really good against similar level to content. Like, it's a great PvP and Guild War option. It's horrible for delves, raids, and pet battles, stuff like that. Or at least the higher end of pet battles. Shabanu upskills everyone. Well, she does a stat increase to everyone. Stat increase and upscale aren't the same thing, though. Whenever I say upscaling, I'm referring to the capability of a troop being able to perform better at higher level content. Meaning that they have things that will basically scale up to higher level content. This includes things like Entangle, Barrier, Mana Drain, anything that boosts ratios based on enemy stats, and a few other mechanics. Basically anything that can zero out a value of an enemy, or can boost ratio off of an enemy, are the main things that have capability of upscaling. And there's a lot of good troops in this game that can't actually upscale, which is kind of slightly ironic. But they might be good when you're fighting in PvP or Guild War, but they're bad at fighting things that have like triple, quadruple your stats. Which obviously happens quite a bit in higher level delves and stuff. Would this be a good time to figure out what to buy with your 4,000 diamonds next? Well, it depends what point in the game you're in. Honestly, based on what's currently craftable this week, I'd probably skip if you're more towards earlier mid-game. While there are a few good things in there, like Yali if you want to finally make Scorpius team work, or Aquaticus if you want that nice Emerge utility option, while also having a good Infernus-like option. I'm not sure if I'd really go out of my way for any if you were early in the game, based on what's currently available. Like, how many Mythics do you currently have? Because if that number is less than half, I probably wouldn't go for anything that's available this week. Unless you just really want the Yali to make Scorpius work if you already have the Scorpius. In which case, I'd probably say that's the option, assuming you have Scorpius already. So do keep in mind, those might not be viable forever. But currently, they're basically the meta for farming Explore 12. But if you have Scorpius but are not Yali, I'd probably say Yali's the way to go. But if you don't have Scorpius, you definitely don't want to get Yali because she's relatively useless in any other context. Yali's whole purpose is pretty much just to be used with Scorpius. Has been her purpose pretty much her entire existence. Has been just for that synergy. She's the best poisoning troop in the game. And obviously Scorpius needs poison. You do have Scorpius? Okay, well if you have Scorpius and not Yali, it's worth considering if you're planning on doing a lot of Explores. If you want to go metal grind. We don't know how much longer that's going to be viable for. However, we know it's viable now. And it's likely going to be viable for at least another several weeks, hopefully. If not longer. So it's worth considering getting Yali then to make Scorpius build work. Which comes out to Mountain Crusher, Scorpius, Leprechaun, and Yali. And it's the quickest Explore 12 team in the game that I am aware of. I still have yet to see or test anything that has been quicker than that. And you use that on Urskea because Urskea currently has 0 immune to poisons. Which is one of the reasons why it also goes so quick. However, even once Urskea has a poison immune option, that's not going to kill the team. because you're still going to be able to utilize it decently. Mostly because you'll still be able to just use it on teams that don't have immune to poison. And while you might need to switch out for some battles, there are quite a few kingdoms that only have one immune to poison option. You just got 2 tokens of Nisha and 1 boss chest? Congratulations, Jellybean. That is an absurdly high amount of luck. Congrats. Yeah, that is very, very nice. I haven't gotten a Nisha for almost a week now. Though we haven't been grinding as much, which is mostly why. But we haven't gotten a single Nisha since we've gotten 3 medals. So yeah, it's actually been over a week then. We've had 3... We had that full bonus for about a week and a half now, haven't we? Oh gosh, it's been ages since we got a Nisha. And too bad we don't get them off of guild tasks. They removed them from guild tasks. Yeah, we might need to go farm those later. And the problem is I won't be able to farm next Gnome event. Similar to 2 Gnome events ago, when I wasn't able to farm it due to being away. I'm going to be away for the holidays, so... Twice in a row, I'm not going to be around for a Vault event. Well, not twice in a row. But, we had a Vault event we couldn't do. Then we did one. Then we had another Vault event I couldn't do. So, slightly unfortunate that it fell that way. The one nice thing about being away when it is a Vault event, it's probably the best event I could miss. Mostly because I technically don't need to cover any content when it's a Vault event. While yes, I'll miss out on a lot of grinding, we're not missing out on covering anything, at least. Also, I believe my friend is working on the day of the Mythic coming out on the 3rd. So I'll easily be able to cover the Mythic that 3rd as well, after I wake up. Though I might have crashed from the previous night, so whenever I wake up, it might be later in the day when that video comes. But I should hopefully still be able to get out the event video on time as well on that Monday while I'm gone. Because as you guys know, I'll be gone from about the night of the 27th until about the 6th or 7th. Ideally, we'll stream the Monday night of the 6th, but depends how I feel after I get back, because I'll be getting back late that day. Oh, what do we grab here? Take the brown for now. Grab another brown. Get yourself a gargoyles rolling. Yeah, Christmas is right around the corner, only 1 week away. Feels like it's flying by this year. You should use Obsidius and last spots to remove summons and resistance. We could. That would somewhat work. The only problem is a lot of these battles we're not getting an extra turn immediately. But we definitely could do that as an option. I'm just not sure if we could get enough extra turns for it to be viable enough, though. It'd also give us 1 less hit, because Obsidius does not get up that quick. He has a rather slow startup. And even if he hits double hit, I believe he does overall less damage than Gargoyle, which is kind of funny. But that's mostly because Gargoyle does upscale. Well, it doesn't... well, it can upscale if you can give it higher amount of attack. And in Delves, we get a lot of free attack, which is one of the reasons why you might see me using Gargoyle and Delves a lot. I haven't been using it as much recently. However, one of the main reasons why you see me using him in Delves a lot, and not any other location, is mostly because of all the extra attack that you get from Delves. Ends up making him pretty viable, because obviously from upgrading your Delve, you're gaining a lot of stats. Some of those stats are attack, and that makes his damage quite substantially higher. Given that, for example, right now, if I go and check it real quick, since we're at level 200, and this is without 50% as well, so this could be even higher. But at 200, we are currently getting, how much extra attack? We are getting 36 additional attack, which is quite a bit for his boost ratio. If you take 36 times the 4 that we have, what does that come out to? You need to do, actually, we could just, why am I getting calculator out? You could literally just do 36 times 3, because he has that boost ratio into it. So it's 36 times 3, that's 90, 18, that's 108. He's getting 108, he's getting 108 additional damage per cast, which is not that bad at all. I did the math right? We'll find out in a second. Let's see. Why do I feel like I did the math slightly wrong there? No, 108 sounds... Oh, no, that might still be a little bit off. Wait, never mind. I did that weirdly. That's not how you would do it. That's okay. Let's just figure it out. It's 36 times 4 divided by 3. Oh, yeah, never mind. I did do the math slightly wrong. I was doing... Okay, I was just taking as if it was doing a... Never mind. But anyways, 48. I was doing it as if it was a 3 out of 4, which was weird. But anyways, 48 additional damage. Still a pretty substantial amount of damage nonetheless. But the extra attack that we have in Delves is giving him 48 more damage than he would have if we were to say, let's use, say, like PvP or something. And that's not even counting magic. But just off a boost ratio alone, he's gaining 48 additional damage from that per cast. Which means it's actually double because he does do damage to 2 adjacents more often than not. You have 26 base rarity mythics? Nice. Yeah, anything above half is really progressed. I forget what a half even is. I believe 20-something is half. Generally, when you have more than half, you should go for every single mythic when it comes available. Just because once you finally have more than half, you'll have a higher chance that you find, if you're doing it in a random drop table on a given time, you'll have a higher chance of finding something that is a mythic you already own compared to a mythic that you don't own. So generally, once you have more than half the mythics in the game, you should almost always only open keys when a exclusive mythic is around, even if it's not necessarily that good of a mythic. And the main reason for that is it guarantees that you get a mythic you don't have. Whereas if you open them at any other time, yes, you might get something good that you have been needing. However, you'd also have a decent chance, or a higher chance than that, of finding something that you already have that you wouldn't need at all. So it's generally worth considering once you have more than half the mythics to start focusing more on only opening new mythics and then getting all the mythics that you still want that you don't have that have already came in through their events by getting them through diamonds. And that's generally the way you go about mythics. You don't have to necessarily follow that exactly, but it just increases the chance that you don't get it just decreases the chance that you get a useless repeat of a mythic, because this game does not really have any kind of method to do anything about useless repeat mythics. You just kind of get them and then nothing happens. It's just disappointment, unfortunately. And most mythics cannot run multiple in a team. You can, but obviously it's not viable to run most mythics with multiple. Some of them can, like Catches the Bull, like Fair Shra, but a good majority of them can't. Only like 10% of them can, if even that many. At least viably, anyways. I have 5 Gargantars. I have 10 Plagues. I forget if I mentioned that on stream, but we ended up getting 2 Plagues from the guilds prior to the new Guild War system that came in recently. And yeah, we have 10 Plagues now. We have such an absurd amount of Plague. Let me go show it. Let's see, where's our Plague stack? There's our Plague stack. 10 Plagues. There we go. Yeah, we somehow have 10 Plagues. I'm pretty sure we're the only person in the entire game with 10 Plagues. Pretty sure there might be some other people that have double-digit mythics, but we might be the only person in the entire game with 10 double-digit Plagues. That's not really a good accomplishment, though. They're obviously useless. But oh well. What do we grab here? Also, one of the other reasons why we have so many Plagues is Plague was, I believe, the 3rd mythic to ever come into the game. So that's another thing to consider, too, of why we have so many. It's because so many were added to the game. Or, you know, not that so many were added to the game, but he's been in the drop table for the longest amount of time. So a lot of them were capable of being accumulated. I have more Plague than Plague Rat. That is kind of funny. I didn't even notice that when I was looking at it. That's mostly because I stopped doing Plague Rat after we got it to Mythic, of course. I was hoping I would hit enough skulls. Really? You're going to make me have to hit you for 2 HP? Why you gotta do that to us? Wasting our time having to cast something. Oh, yo. Can you make a list of any mythic that can be useful to have multiple copies? I've mentioned it a couple times on stream. The full list is, I believe, 6 Mythics, last I recall, 5 or 6. There's some that theoretically could, like double Plague or triple Plague is theoretically good, but if you're referring to actual meta, for the most part, there's only about 6, I believe. And those 6 are, or the ones that are viable with multiple are, let's see, not that many. Famine used to be, but he isn't anymore. There's not that many. We've gone through all these. Okay, so Megavore is one. Double Megavore, not the greatest, but it does work. Megavore, Plague theoretically, though I wouldn't really advise it. Queen Aurora can. Fair Shra obviously can. It's actually probably the best one with multiple, since it actually gains viability from 2, 3, and 4, oddly enough. However, you really only ever need 2. I wouldn't really go any further than that ever. Queen Aurora, as I mentioned. I think some people have been doing double Shabanu Vespera for some stuff. I personally don't feel like it's worth it, but I believe it can function as a team. What else is good with multiple? 2 Possessed Kings is technically useful ever so occasionally, particularly the Darkstone class event, as well as some very niche teams. Double Tina is viable, mostly because it is the most viable troop with 50% spell reduction, and occasionally having 2 for that purpose would be useful, since it's the most viable thing that currently has 50% spell reduction. However, once a more viable 50% spell reduction comes into the game, having 2 Tinas might be quite a bit less viable compared to how it is now. And other than that, I believe that's all of them as far as multiples are concerned, unless I skipped over one. But yeah, there is not that many. And honestly, I would say the only really true ones are probably Plague. I mean, not Plague. Probably Fair Shra and Ketris, I mean. Ketris, because of how much boost ratio you can get. He's particularly good for brown, green, and red Tower of Doom. I feel like is his biggest locations, combined with Yasmin's Pride. Same premise can be applied to Delves, though I feel like it works better in Tower of Doom, because you can risk them dying on occasion, and not have to worry about like Yasmin dying or anything like that, where you do need to worry about that in Delves. But yeah, he's really good for Tower of Doom for that, having 2. And because he can cover half of Tower of Doom just by having him, because obviously he covers red, green, and brown. If you have Yasmin Pride into double Catches a Bull, you're done with half a Tower of Doom, automatically winning just off of that. And double Fair Shra is the best soul farming in the entire game, which now that there's even higher soul farming, or you know, the higher amount of souls for a bunch of stuff, that is even more relevant than ever, having double Fair Shra. Honestly, I advise only getting 1 Fair Shra initially and just hopefully randomly getting the second one. That happened to my Nintendo Switch account, actually pretty early too, which is really lucky. But I do advise just getting it off of pure luck, the second one. It is possible to use 3 Fair Shras, however, every Fair Shra after the first one has quite a bit of a diminishing return on its value. The first one's the most important, the second one's the second most important, and everyone beyond there doesn't really do as much, if anything. 3 Fair Shras and 4 Fair Shra teams can theoretically function. But the 2 Fair Shra team is just a lot smoother with how it functions, because you actually have a proper team, whereas the other ones are basically just spam Fair Shra, obviously, into a Dragon Soul. Or in the case of 4 Fair Shras, you're literally just poking things with skulls and trying to win as quickly as possible while casting once for max souls. Or, sorry, twice for max souls. You would have to cast twice in that instance. Which takes potentially long as well. Though a 20% Mana Star, I guess that's not as bad. 20% Mana Star did theoretically help boost soul farming. While its overall rate is slightly lower than the highest that has ever existed in the game, 20% obviously did help it, because Dragon Soul nor Fair Shra would naturally have any way to Mana Start, and 20% helps them to actually Mana Start to some capacity. The Grey King, I haven't actually ever tested double Grey King, so I'm not sure how viable it is. I have heard people mention that double Grey King is viable, but I actually don't have it, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'll craft it next time I see Grey King. I don't feel like it's meta, though. But it might be viable to some degree. Though it's very situationally viable, since the opposing team would need to be basically pure color. But you would have a double true damage option. And with enchant on them, that could be kind of interesting. Like in a Tower of Doom instance. Like if you were to run it on Tower of Dooms for the pure colors. I feel like would be the biggest purpose of Grey King. Like that. Oh no, I never cared for the Grey King personally. I know some people really love the troop. But, I don't know, I've never been a big fan of him. Something about how he functions just never really cared for. I think it's mostly because I hate the troops that need to target something in order to trigger something on a color. I hate every troop that has that setup, which is probably why I don't care for it as much. And they keep adding it because the community troop had it. Because that's actually what came into the community troop. And I was fine for it with the community troop. But now that they keep adding it to so many other things, it's starting to get slightly annoying. Because it's a really weird ability to use. Since you have to decide if you want to do your ability for board control, if you want to do it for the better cast. And if you do it for the better cast, you might give the enemy a good board. And if you do it for the board control, you might do almost nothing or literally nothing with your ability. Which is the biggest thing that I hate about the board control options that specifically trigger something based on what color they trigger. That they target. Hello, Stacy! Welcome. I said, hello, White Romeo. Never said hi even though I answered your question. Welcome. And hello, ssaszix. When you see a PvP team with 4 of the same color, your Grey King comes out. Yeah, that would generally work, be one of the main situations where you'd want to bring it out. Especially now that people are running pure color Vespera. You probably have even more of a reason to bring it out on occasion. I think even today we could have brought it out, right? Wait, what color was today? No, green. He doesn't use green. But if you end up seeing a Vespera on a day where you can use Grey King, yeah, you could go bring him out for Guild Wars as well if you wanted to. And just disable the entire enemy team. Which would work out quite nicely. I honestly would not advise defending with Vespera though. I'm not sure why this guild had 2 battles that had to defend with Vespera. She's not that good on defend. Offensive, yes. Defensive, no. And the main reason for that is the AI is never going to use her correctly. That is never going to happen. Oh, so we almost gained a level. Probably not getting it to stream, though. The next stream, we definitely will. We're not ending next stream until we do. Because we're already going to be so close at that point. Slowly working towards the 1,600 goal. We're still a whole 100 away. Since we recently just got our level the other day. When was it? Saturday, I believe it was? Friday, Saturday, somewhere around there. Okay, we got the Cascade Skull that wouldn't have killed otherwise. Nice. That cough came out of nowhere. Haven't been getting too sick. I did like a little bit initially when the weather kind of changed, but other than that, I've been fine for the most part. I heard a lot of people have been getting sick, so I guess I got a little lucky. Though I don't normally go out that much, so that might be why too. The advantages of not going out so much. But I did go out today. I actually bought a new bag for my laptop, actually, among a few other things. But yeah, let me actually go show it. It's actually a pretty cool bag. Oh, I don't know, I like it. Yeah, I finally got one because my other case, not only was it broken, but it also wasn't really the right size for it. But yeah, it ends up working out pretty nice. It has a nice little middle compartment too, where you can just open it and not have to remove your laptop separately. Because it has a specific compartment where you can just go and have it separated from all your other things in between. Because that's one nice advantage is my other one didn't have really enough compartments. This one basically has 5. So you have like a middle area where you can just open it right up. And then you have the 2 side areas where you can just put all your other stuff. I don't know, it works out for what I need. And since I'm traveling, I figured, might as well get a new bag already. Works out nice. Well, I haven't actually tried putting it in here yet. I assume it fits. It's a 15.6 laptop case bag. And my new computer is exactly 15.6. So it should fit nice and perfectly. Luckily, it's returnable until the 14th. So if I really wanted it to be sketchy, I could leave literally all the tags on it, go travel, and then return it after I get back. Because I'll be getting back on like the 7th, and then I could return it. But I'm obviously going to keep it because it's not the last time I'll be traveling. But I theoretically, because they have such a long duration for the holidays for returns, I could theoretically open it or, use it, travel with it, and then return it and still get the refund for it. I'm obviously not going to do that, though. That would be kind of funny if I did, though. Where am I going for my trip? Chicago, to see some friends. It's actually going to be the first New Year's or the first Christmas or New Year's where I've been with friends rather than family. Still gonna be seeing family though soon, but not for New Year's or Christmas. Well, I'm just gonna be at my normal place for Christmas, so I'll be seeing some family, but I'm not gonna be going away to see family. I mean, for Christmas. Yeah, it'll be the first time I'll be with friends for New Year's, so we'll see how that goes. Should be decently fun. Oh, where do we go? That's just not technically Chicago. It's another part of Illinois. I just always say Chicago because that's where the airport is. It's like 30 minutes away from Chicago, but it's technically outside of Chicago. I forget exactly what the town is called. I just always say Chicago because it's so close. It's outside of Chicago enough that the houses are cheaper. Or not much cheaper, but, you know, cheaper than if you were living in directly Chicago. Yet still close enough to the airport. That's where you are. You could buy me dinner or lunch. Well, I'm not sure how much free time I'll have. Also, I won't have any kind of transportation or anything while there. And also, the people I'll be staying with will be paying for a lot of things. And generally, I would be wanting to spend most of my time with them, since they're helping out with a lot. Like, literally, the only thing I'm paying for is the plane ticket. They cover everything else. They're really generous. Oh, and for that, I wouldn't really want to, like, leave. Because they kind of expect me, if I'm going to be there like that, they expect me to be there the entire time. But if I do get some time, he is working 2 of the days, the main person I'm seeing there. And, yeah, I could potentially try seeing then Defiant if you really want to go out for lunch or something. We'll see. Not going to confirm one way or another, though. Let me take here. Get our poke over there. And if we Gargoyle, kill the other one. Be good to go. And that should be dead. And we're almost done. Actually, after this, though, we should be all the way at full points, which will be nice. And get claim over orbs. And then I need to go, because I actually have something else I need to go do tonight by 10. And that is in 26 minutes from now. You were thinking maybe a second Weaver Champion of Anu? Double Weaver would make it so your summon's more consistent. The biggest issue with that is mana accumulation. If you're running double Weaver, you don't really have enough ways to mana generate for your team. It could theoretically work. I wouldn't really advise it, though. Normally, if you're going to go down that build, you go Megavore into Weaver. Because not only does that cover every color in the game, but they synergize in a similar way that Double Weaver would. But honestly, I would say Megavore Weaver is a better option than Double Weaver in most situations. The only situation where it might not be is if you like want to almost guarantee Web Spinner chance, because with double 75% chance, that's a really high chance that every kill you get will redo a Web Spinner. But then at that point, your team is a Web Spinner, 1 troop that mana generates, and then 2 Weavers. Which I feel like is a slightly too clunky for most teams. But who knows, maybe if we get a nice middle option for that, that might eventually be really viable. As it currently stands, I don't think there's a good enough middle troop for that to work, though. Because you would need a Web Spinner, some kind of second troop that could ideally both Skull Spam and mana generate that would fit well with the team, followed by Double Weaver. And I don't believe the Elf troop has Skull Spam on it, does it? The troop that has 50% Elf? If he had Skull Spam and Mana Accumulation, that would work perfectly, but I believe he does not have either. Let me double check. What was Elf again? Where did he go? I believe he just does a poke and a summon. I don't think he does Mana Generation or Skull Spam. If he did, he'd be perfect, but he doesn't. So he's not... Where'd he go? I forget his name. There it is. Damage to an enemy boosted by all elves, elementals, and beasts. Summon, yeah, it doesn't have any board control nor mana accumulation. So you couldn't use that for that, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a good middle troop that works good enough for it yet. It might exist in the future, but as of now, I don't believe there is an option that would make that viable enough to bother using. North, south, or west side? I believe it is north side. But I can chat with you more later about it. But yeah, if you contact me through Discord or something, we can chat about it then. Out of those 4 mythics, what would you craft? Amnesia, Champion of Anu, Champion of Guard, or Deaf? Gosh. That's a hard choice. The most useful of those 4 is probably Champion of Anu. However, I believe Bladed Lands becomes 10 starable soon if it isn't already. I don't think it is right now, is it? No, what is it missing? I think it's just missing 1 troop. But you might want Amnesia, because the second this kingdom reaches 1 more troop, it becomes 10 starable. And that is really relevant because 10-star Bladed Lands is 1 extra magic bonus. And for that reason, I'd probably say Amnesia. Just because by the time you'll have enough diamonds to craft something else, you either want to craft something that would be better because something else might have came that you might not have gotten in keys, or it would already be 10-starable, in which case you would definitely want Amnesia. But yeah, I think Amnesia. Not because you would use Amnesia, but because you'd want it for Kingdom Upgrade. But if you're looking for actual usefulness, Champion of Anu is probably the most useful of those, though still pretty useless. But no, I'd probably go Amnesia. Let me double check. Is there a Bladed Lands event coming anytime soon? The answer is... Actually, let me just control find Bladed Lands. The answer is no. However, that doesn't mean it's not going to be happening anytime soon. Because we can't see that far into the future. Oh, wait. Oops. I'm in the wrong category anyways. My bad. 1 second. Maybe there is. When's the next Bladed Lands? Okay, wrong page. My bad. Bladed Lands. Nope. Even on this page, it doesn't show anything. However, we can only currently see a couple months into the future. But still, I'm not sure. Depends which way you want to look at it. But, yeah, it's going to be at least a couple months until Amnesia might be useful. Because it's currently no Bladed Lands event or troop within visible sight. And we currently can see a few months into the future or so. But Amnesia will still be required. If we don't get another, Bladed Lands mythic, once Bladed Lands gets even 1 more troop, it will be 10-star. And that's a whole magic bonus, which is relevant in itself. Just for the magic bonus, even if the mythic is useless. Okay, we got a 1.15. And what's this other one? 1.2. That's why I wanted to check. Take this 1.2, take the other one, good to go. Oh, let's see. We'll grab that for now. Grab our brown. Get our other thing there. And it was killed out. And he's dead. Maybe we'll just ask for 4 mythics today. Is there any way to force obtain jewels? Yes and no. You know pet hunts will get you jewels. Okay, yeah, that's the only method to do so. But your guild doesn't get enough. Is there another way besides normal dungeon challenges? The only other way you can get jewels, other than from doing guild pets and constantly doing PvP to try to get it if your guild isn't doing them, is to do all the challenges. I forget which challenge it is. I believe it's 6, 7, or 8. I forget exactly which one off the top of my head. But one of the challenges gives you jewels related to the color. And if you're looking for green jewels, you'd have to do all the pure green kingdoms. So things like Forest of Thorns, things like Zolkari, any of them that are green as their color would end up being the ones you would want to do, as those would give you green jewels, which I assume is the one that you want for Doomed Glaive. But that's the only other way you can get some, and if you've already done those, then the only other way would be jewel gnomes. However, when it's not a gnome event, you can't really get that many jewel gnomes, and they give a pretty small amount to begin with anyways. Generally, the best way of obtaining them is just get more pet battles, and more pet battles equals more jewels. That's the only way to infinitely farm them. However, even that's limited per hour on how many you can get. But that is the best method. And the only other best method is during gnome events. because not only would it be more likely that you would constantly have a pet gnome active during gnome events, you'd also have a higher chance of finding jewel gnomes. Next pet event, or next gnome event is unfortunately not this week. It is next week. It's the weekend after Christmas. So next week's weekend. So unfortunately you wouldn't be able to get it this week if you were looking for Doomed Glaive or something else. If you were looking to gnome hunt it. Oh, we still need a few more battles. Looks like we need about 3 or 4. Oh yeah, it's tier 8. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, tier 7 I believe is ingots. And tier 8 would then be jewels. And you would just do all the green kingdoms. You can easily check which ones the green kingdoms are by checking what color they are through their page. Whatever deed they require color-wise and what mastery they give color-wise is the same color of jewel that they give. So any of them that have green under there is what you would end up going for if you're looking for green. Or if you're looking for a different color, just do the ones that are that color. Yeah, you also get more off the tasks. Wasn't it only 50 though? But yeah, I believe under one of the trees. I forget exactly where it was specifically, but you also get them off of new guild tasks. You get some off the normal guild task and the new guild task give them too. It's a pretty small amount, but they add up over week to week. There's actually no way to buy jewels with real money. There is nothing you can buy within the game, unless I'm forgetting something. But I'm pretty sure there's 0 things you could buy within the game that... Oh, no, I lied. Yeah, I guess you could buy it for $5. However, those are extremely expensive. I did twice, I think, just to go and do it for a video to have it in time, so we could show it a bit quicker. However, the colored ones are really bad value to spend $5 just to get slightly more jewels. Yeah, I guess technically the daily offer. I would not advise that, though. They're pretty expensive. Because you only get like 200 for $5 or something, which is way overpriced. Oh, what do we grab here? Take that for now. Grab our other brown. Take our other brown. And he should be dead. You came across a forum post that we were both involved in before. You quit before. You think you might enjoy this? What did you post? Oh, there we go. We got all the points now. Grab our vault key, grab our 2 orbs. Can we get blues for once? I feel like we're on like a 12 green streak. And it continues. Orange doesn't count. They're basically similarly as useless. But anyways, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I need to get going. But let me know. Anything else? Anything else? Otherwise, feel free to leave a like on the stream. Definitely helps out a lot. I will be streaming same time tomorrow, 2 hours prior to now tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be messing around with the new pet. Don't forget, new pet coming out tomorrow. So definitely make sure to go get that. It's not one of the exclusive event ones. However, you still want to go get it. Yeah, I don't think links work properly unless you're a mod in chat. But if you can give it through me on Discord or forum or something directly, that would end up working too. But anyways, guys, I do need to get going. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, wonderful holiday, and catch all of you later. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you so much for watching.